honestly, for me, it's been an eye-opener because I was that spoiled brat. I was that person that was probably thinking somebody else is beneath me, honestly. And it's a really sad reality that I can, before I give anything to my kids, we're going to the food bank, we're going to make some bags, mate. I'm going to make you work for this, right? And I needed it, in a nutshell.
Welcome back to the Punchline Podcast. Today I've got a heavyweight champion in his own right from Smethwick, and he goes by the name of Imran, and most of you will know him as part of the Bearded Broz. And without any further delays, I'll ask him to introduce himself. Imran?
Mo, you're extremely kind with the introduction, first of all. My name's Imran Hameed, born and bred Sandwell. And I run the Bearded Broz, in a nutshell, yeah. I'm an IT consultant by trade. I've been doing IT, I sell software and social media to companies for 16, 17 years now. Just got into the sort of notion of community work about 6, 7 years back. I grew up second generation Pakistani in this country. Dad very, very old fashioned. Lost my mum when I was about 16. I'm 42 now. And, heard all the phrases, the Arabic phrases as growing up, as you do, Sadqa Jariya, Namaz, this, that, the other. You and I was reading Namaz because my mum and dad told me to read Namaz. We never really understood why you're reading Namaz, right? And you heard about, the ongoing rewards of Sadqa Jariya. But the penny never dropped for me till very, very late, probably. Grew up in a very affluent household. My dad's got a very rags to riches story. He supplies most of your leather up and down the country, right? So I was the youngest, sport like hell, right? Probably not the right person, to be around because, I had everything going for me in a nutshell. Lost my mom when, like I said, I was 16. I was just leaving school, going on to college, and just went off the rails. Dad lost the love of his life, somebody he's married to for so many years. We all lost somebody that everybody looked up to. Mum was the eldest in her family. And I just went off the rails, simply just went off the rails, arguing, fighting with anything and everything. I could be fighting a tree, mate. That's how stupid I became. It's really, really silly things. And it was out of character. Got kicked out of one college, got kicked out of another college. Cut a long story short, it was one of my business studies teachers. Her name was Moira. I think she's still around. And she said to me, look, you're a bright kid. What's going on with you? Keep getting kicked out of college and you're fighting for no reason. And we had a one-to-one for about an hour. She started crying, I started crying. I told her what my story was and, with mum. And she said, look, you're grieving. I didn't even know what grieving meant. I was like, what that? Right? It's not an Asian thing to do. Yeah? Where you sit down with your kids and have that one-to-one. Right? It just doesn't exist. As a community, we're probably the first people to tell our kids off, right, for being naughty, but nobody does their appraisals, nobody does the one-to-one, nobody's really going into depth. And I think our counterparts on the other side have got this down to the T. So it was Moira that actually made me understand that where I was going wrong. And she said to me, look, I really like you as a kid. You're doing really well. If you fight again, I'm never going to talk to you. That's what she said to me. And I thought, I hope. I had a bit of a mission to get on too. I couldn't let Moira down, right? Everything else was all right in my life, but I couldn't let the teacher down. So I eventually got on to uni, went there, got a first honours degree. And I was like, bloody hell, I'm not thick as I thought it was, right? So, yeah, it was a bit of a journey like that. As I said, I grew up in a very affluent household where money wasn't the issue. Married somebody and, had kids. Now, I was still doing the same thing. My 5-year-old was telling me, Dad, I need a Rolex. He didn't want a Rolex, he needed one. Right? He had to keep up with the Joneses here, right? So it was a stupid, stupid lifestyle, mate. It was a dumb lifestyle where we was always pursuing upwards. We're always looking upwards. Yeah, you got a Range Rover, big deal. He's got a Rolls Royce. Yeah, and what? He's got a Bugatti. Hey, next man's got a helicopter. There's no limit. It's just mental because there is no limit. Went to mosque all my life. That took me to the mosque, or went to read Qaida, whatever it was, never understanding what I'm really doing, right? One of my friends introduced me to a masjid, and they said, look, go to this mosque. They're speaking English. I was like, yeah, wicked. I can understand that, right? I'm struggling with Arabic here, mate, because the khutbah's in Arabic and what have you not. I'm not getting it. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't really looking for answers. I was happy doing what I was doing. I wasn't really looking for answers. It was when I went to this mosque. It was a Yemeni mosque, YCA over in West Bromwich, right? First time I went there, and it was a sheikh who was giving the khutbah. Lo and behold, I didn't know he was blind. Listening to the guy, and he was talking about Sadaqah Jariyah. Like I said, I heard the phrase all my life, never really understood what it meant. And then he explained it in English. I said, bro, I get it. I'm wicked. Somebody's actually explained this to me, right? So I called him after the khutbah and I said, look, Sheikh, you was talking about this, right? Can I have a word with you? And he said, yeah, go on. So I said, so how does it work? So if I did something, what I saw my mom doing, yeah, and my intention was to get my mom reward, job done, right? And he said, yeah. I thought, weigh in, right? I was too young when I lost my mom, bro. That was the reality of it. Looking back at it now, what would I have done differently? I would have done a lot differently. I was a lad. I was young. I grew up when I was about 30. It's just silly. And, I would have done a lot if she was still around. But I didn't appreciate what I had. That was a reality. So I found a way in. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go on a mission. We're going to do this. So I sat my dad down. My dad's very old-fashioned. And it was one Ramadan, 27th night. And I said, Dad, never had a one-to-one with my dad, not deep, right? Because, always in our life, it was about, wait till your dad gets home. You're in trouble, right? It was like, that's everybody was scared of dad, right? So dad was there, just about to open our rosa. And I said, Dad, what was mom like? This was a big question for me, and this was a bigger one for him to answer this. And he said, I don't know. So what do you mean you don't know, right? You was married to her for that many years, right? Anyway, he said to me, why don't you ask other people? And I was like, who? Relatives and neighbours. What? Neighbours. So my dad's next door neighbour is a black African woman, Orthodox Christian, right? She's in her 90s. So I thought, okay then. So after iftar, got some food, went down to us, and I said, can I speak to you? I said, yeah. I said, my dad wants me to ask you what my mom was like. And she was like, your dad, yeah, quite typical, right, of your dad. And so she sat me down. She started telling me all these stories, that how they all moved into the area together. They came from Africa. Mom and dad came from Pakistan. There was all grafters, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, look, you're talking about a very conservative Muslim family next door to a very Orthodox Christian family. And they got on like a house on fire. Right, and she said, she had a hip operation and mom used to look after her. And she started crying and all sorts. So what I was getting was you had a immigrant who couldn't speak very much English, had very little resources, not the same resources we had now. And she got along very, very well. And she said, look, your dad was the only guy with the car on the road, and your mom would have forced him to take me to Sunday church. So, they had this whole interfaith thing going on and, not discriminating based upon religion or colour. So we thought hard and we thought, what do we do in order to get my mom some reward? But reflecting upon what she was about. And then after following this conversation, I went on a bit of a soul-searching mission to find out what my mom was like. Bro, I was getting mad stories like, we used to go to 6 weeks holidays and things like that, which probably transpired to be 8 weeks or 10 weeks for summer. And, don't bother about the school, don't worry about it, right? And what was mom actually doing on them holidays? She weren't having, this is not you and me going to Dubai, right? This is about, she was looking after their relatives. And my dad said one of your mom's biggest pastimes was there's a hospital in Pakistan where we're from. We're from a little city called Sialkot. It's a leather capital of the world, right? A very, very affluent city. And he said that she used to basically sit outside the hospital, speak to random strangers. And she used to say, what are you crying for? What's happened? Tell me, right? And she used to help them financially, morally, whatever it was. And this is what she used to be on the mission about. And she'd done X, Y, and Z. I don't want to name everything because I want to keep a little bit secret also. So that is between her and her Lord, what she's done. And it was just remarkable stories. So it was a bit of a moment in my life where I thought, you know what, we got to do something. I've got much more resources than my mum had. I can speak the language. I can do this, right? Being grown up in Sandwell was probably an added benefit, predominantly white, some Asian and some black, which is the makeup of England, right? So I had plenty of non-Muslim friends. I wasn't growing up in a clan mentality. I wasn't from Small Heath, in a nutshell, where you see white people when you go to Asda. It didn't work like that. I had my mates who were white, my best mate, you know, he's English, and he used to be more than, he was my brother, my mate was, right? Mum used to treat him like my little brother, and he used to be always around my house. We used to be, you know, okay, don't go out. You can't do the haram thing and go out and start messing around, right? But you could chill out in the house. That was the score we had going. So yeah, his name's Rob. He's very successful now. And so we thought, what we're going to do, sat with my dad, and I said, look, we're going to feed the homeless. That's where we started from, 2016. Me and my dad, we went out. We said, where? Which country? I said, here. There's a problem here, right? Not knowing the scale of the problem at that time. All I knew was homeless. I saw, with all due respect, Midland Langar Seva, right? I saw these boys in town, started asking them questions, what to do. Bloody hell, what a job. And, you know, fair play to them. Fair play to them. Can't knock them, you know. Honestly, big salute. I wasn't seeing anybody else doing what they were doing.
Big effort.
Yeah, massive effort, mate. Massive effort. Them, I saw Javed Bhai from, it's now called Help the Hero or something like that. Homeless Heroes, it was called at that time.
Homeless Heroes. Yeah.
Homeless Heroes.
Birmingham.
That's right, yeah. And I saw Javed Bhai doing it, and he was a real inspiration to me. And, you know, I wanted to follow suit. So I started doing that. When I got the groceries with my dad, bought about 2 trolleys of food, and he was like, is that going to be enough? And my dad said, yeah, it should be. Start and see what you want to do. And he sat me down, and he said, son, you can't take anybody's money, right? You can't take any money whatsoever. And this service needs to be free of charge. End of. Them are 2 rules you must follow. I said, Dad, how? Right, everybody I looked at, anybody and everybody, all the models, that you've got to take some funding. How do you move forward? And he said, this is not your job. This is the job of the curator. He's the one that's put that person in that predicament. And now you're going towards that person who is helping them. So both of you are being put into the predicament by that same God. It's his job, not yours. And to be honest with you, I'm not no Maulvi. I'm not very, very religious, right? And I was like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? I was quite, you know, I was taken back by this. I think you need a lot of faith, right? To really speak like that and really believe in that. I started off and I thought, Dad's going to, you know, we're going to get mashed up here, man. This ain't going to work. This is not going to work. Anyway, right, started doing it, feeding the homeless, going out there and what have you not. And then I met a woman as I was feeding the homeless, and she said, have you considered, like, you know, doing food banks? I said, what's a food bank, right? Not knowing what a food bank was, right? And she said, it's a place where you can go and you can go and get food, etc., etc. I said, yeah, cool. That seems all right, something we can indulge in. So I said, I'll go and volunteer for them. Went to the food bank, can't tell you which one it was, right? Anyway, how it works, a food bank, it's like a unit.
Warehouse.
Like a warehouse. You get funded by lottery or whoever, right, or the general public or companies, and you store food in there. So if you're in trouble, you get a piece of paper that it's called a food voucher. You take it to them, and they will give you some food. Okay. So majority of food banks in the country are open Tuesdays and Fridays, 2 days, for about 2 hours a day. That's it. So you need this piece of paper. And I was like, yeah, cool, I could do this. So me and my wife went and got loads of groceries, filled up that food bank, and I'm going to volunteer here, I'm going to do that. So this was where I was starting. Anyway, a woman comes along with a pram, kid in there, black woman, and she said, I need food. And I said, yeah, no problems, I'll get the girl, because I was only been there like 2 days. I said, I'll get the girl. She's talking to her, having this conversation, and she said, well, we can't help you. And she said, why? She said, because you haven't got a voucher. Right, considering it's Friday, just after Jummah prayer, I went there, and She started crying. She said, how am I going to feed my kid and this, that, the other. And I was like, yo, what's this all about? So you need a piece of paper in order to go to this place, okay? Anyway, they had the conversation. She walked off. She physically couldn't give her anything. Even the volunteer wanted to, she couldn't, right? Because there were the rules of the food bank. And this is quite normal of quite a lot of food banks. Yeah, the structure of the model. Anyway, I quit the food bank there and then I was like, you know what, you're a bunch of jokers. Somebody wants food and you're not giving it them. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, right? Oh no, but we have to make sure that she's verified. I said, verified? Come on, let's use our marbles. Somebody's crying. She could be lying. And you know what, big deal. Oh, okay, you looked at 10 people. 2 of them lied to you. Yeah, and what? At least 8 of them were telling the truth. You're never going to be able, if somebody could tell a good lie, you're never going to be able to catch them out, are you? Right? So at least we got to 8 of them. But do we now, because of them 2 people, not feed 8? It just doesn't stick in my head. It doesn't make any sense.
Not logical.
It's not logical. So I followed this woman, right? I said, sister, jump in with me. I'll take you to Asda. So we did that, right? She told me a story. Basically, went to the cash point. They're supposed to, her job seekers allowance was supposed to show up. Never was there. Okay. Now, it will take about a week or so before she can find out why the job seekers allowance weren't there. She told me all sorts. This was a world I didn't know. This was ridiculous. To me, it was very ridiculous because I've never been short of any money. Do you understand? I've never been put into that position. Okay. So this woman, honestly, all the way there, all the way while we're shopping, all the way home, she couldn't stop crying, mate. She would not stop crying. And it was a little kid, man. How can I let mine, all your kids go to bed without food? It was just not happening. Not on my watch. I'm not doing it, right? So I've done that. And she said, look, Imran, there's a lot more people that are in need than there are homeless people. So I went to Facebook, right? Knew a bit about social media. I thought I did anyway, right? And put on there, if anybody needs help, right, with food, contact me, give my personal mobile number. Bloody hell, mate, it went a bit crazy. It was going mental. It was literally, honestly, every 5-10 minutes, people phoning me. Hello, I need food. I haven't got food. These are moms, dads, kids, schools telling me stuff like this. So what I was doing at the beginning, I was making an, okay, I'll phone you back. Okay, I'll phone you back. Remember, I'm an IT consultant. I've got work to do here, right? So every night I would have a list of people and I'm saying to my wife, what do we do? So I bought a van. I said, we need a van. I can't do this in the rain. It just doesn't look right, yeah? Plus I can't fit anything in there anyway, right? So I bought a van and every night, honestly, for about 6 months, I ate my food, my dinner in that van. I picked up my kids, my wife, and we would go just Asda, make the bags, and then go around to all of these areas, right, and go and drop our food to everybody. I was now bringing this story back to my family. So whenever I see people, they're like, what are you doing? What mad stuff are you doing? And I was like, there's people that are hungry, out there, and this, that, the other. It's like India and Pakistan. I was like, don't be stupid. Everybody gets fed in England, right? Typical mentality. Everybody has money in England, right? Typical Asian mentality. I said, trust me, they don't. So I'm having really mad arguments because I'm feeling hurt here. I'm trying to help someone. I'm trying to explain to you lot, and you lot think I'm taking the pee. That's not the case. And they said, nah, people are making you into a fool. Right? You're getting played, mate. That's what's going on with you. They're taking liberties, right? So I said, okay. So it was one day I was in Wolverhampton and went to saw this woman and she's telling me the story about, why she needed to use a food bank, etc. I said, do you mind if I make a video? And it's like, no, carry on. So I went Facebook Live and that's when it went crazy. I just had to bring that out onto a social platform. The intention wasn't to get more food or help more people. Nah, that'd be wrong if I said that. It was more to say to my family, like, hello, listen to this story, someone, right? And for people to say, this is happening on our doorsteps. If you need help, then contact me. And it never stopped after that. Now we're 6 years down the line. We're around about 250,000 food parcels later, right? We still haven't taken anybody's money. What happened with social media was we just had so much public interest that the public gives us the food. What we're saying is that you as a public, you as a company, right, give me food, I will act as a middle person and give it to somebody else that needs it. Simple. No mathematics. Anybody can show up at our doorstep Monday to Friday, 10 till 6, normal opening hours. Don't go to bed without food. We're not replacing a food bank. We are saying that whilst they are closed and you're in an emergency, come and see me. I'll give you that bag of food so at least you can tick over and the kids have some food. That's what we're saying in a nutshell.
And you know, through your experience, what is the main reason why people are struggling with food? Or is there a variety of reasons?
There's loads of reasons. If I could put my finger on it and say this is the main reason, there's lots of reasons. Depends on the time of the year, right? Benefit cuts, got to be one of the biggest. Domestic violence. What else is there? Just not being able to make ends meet. Just not being able to put enough on the table. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there who earn 50 and spend 100, which is beyond me. I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, we had a mom at the doorstep. And one of my members of staff, he said, Imran, do you want to come and speak to this woman? I don't know what to say to her, mate. I went outside and I said, when was your last time you got paid? She said, a week ago. How much? 290 quid. Yeah, she got a baby in the pushchair. She's got no food. You just got paid 290 quid, yeah, week ago. What did you do with your money? And she was straight up. Anybody else could have said, I paid some bills with it. I've got it on. So what do you mean you got it on? She had a tracksuit on. Somebody had ripped it off. The tracksuit wasn't even worth 300 quid. Let me just get that right, yeah?
What's the spending habit?
Bro, because a mate had one. So she had to get one. 290 quid. She was crying. And she said, I've tried to give it back to the shop, but they won't have it back. Mom has made a stupid decision. That's what's happened. Now, what do? Mom, yes, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. But the baby's not. I've got to do something now for the baby. Even though I want to, get mom and go, wake up, right? I can't do it. So you get them sort of scenarios. I get people showing up in nice looking cars, right? That just haven't got money for flour and rice. Yeah, it looks all hunky-dory from the outside. It's a nice looking car. It's a nice looking house. Don't belong to you. If it doesn't belong to you, you're still paying for it. So people living out their means is a major problem. That old saying of, saving up for a rainy day, that doesn't exist any longer. That doesn't exist. I've seen a major increase of the type of people that use us. So 6-7 years ago, I never saw any Asian people. But now, during the pandemic, I've seen a lot more Asian people. We've had to change the makeup of the food bank itself, where we've had to introduce like chickpeas, rice, flour, oil. They were very small then, but now they've become really big components of the food bank because a lot more Asian people have had to use us. They've probably lost their job, the furlough. There's a variety of reasons. Every single story is different, but the reality of it is that we are probably looking in the wrong parts of the world to help people when the help needs to be here first. I'm not saying if you're doing something in Yemen or Syria or wherever, it's wrong. No, do it. But remember, you're born here for a reason. And we can't just ignore that factor and move on to another country. Yeah, if you can do all of them, fair play to you. Well done you. But it has to start at home. Has to. And I think the biggest blessing in the 7 years has got to be for me, forget everybody else. Honestly, for me, it's been an eye-opener. Because I was that spoiled brat. I was that person that was probably thinking somebody else is beneath me. Honestly. And it's just really sad reality that I can, before I give anything to my kids, we're going to the food bank, we're going to make some bags, mate. I'm going to make you work for this, right? And I needed it, in a nutshell.
And the actual food bank, the name of it, where does it originate from?
From my mom. My mom's name was Salma, and it's called the Salma Food Bank. We've now got branches in the Midlands, in London, Bradford, and Manchester. So we're trying to expand, but it's very hard to expand without trying to throw money at it. If I could just physically break my dad's promise and just throw money at it, it'd be all happy days. But we're trying to find like-minded people that say, Imran, you know what? I've got this space. You can use it as long as you like. You don't pay anything for it, right? And the same way I get donations from the general public, I can just fill that up and then say, hey guys, we got a new place over in Preston now. So anybody in Preston that needs it, come down and help yourself to food.
And what's the uptake like? Like, do you find a lot of like-minded people, or do you struggle, or do you have some?
We struggle. We definitely struggle.
What is the main reason? People just not willing, or don't have the time, or don't have the expertise?
I think where we've struggled is people just the Asian mentality of helping here in this country is lacking somewhat. Where they think that they can only help in a poverty-stricken country. They just feel I was probably the same. They just feel that nobody needs the help here. The government gives everything to everybody. That's what they think. And so a lot of people think, you're being ripped off. But it just goes to show how many food parcels. But yeah, not everybody's going to be ripping me off, are they?
No chance.
Yeah, so that's where the name comes from, my mum's name. Just trying to give something back to her. It's my Doreen. Just trying to talk to her because, Brother Saeed told me, he said, every time you do something good, the angels come to your mom and they'll say, hey, listen, there's a little present for you from your son. And that I find peace in, if you like. That I can't, speak to my mom, I can't physically see my mom, but I could do something. I'm going to do something, haven't I? Do you understand? And if that helps somebody else while I get my peace, then you know what, happy days.
It's a legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what she's done, mate, you and I probably won't find out for the rest of our lives, but she did something really magical. She was a magical person, and she does deserve it. That's the way I look at it. And you have to understand, Allah is the one that put that into my heart. Allah was the one that told me, Imran, this is the way you can find peace. Allah is the one that keep on continuing her reward. I'm not doing nothing. It's not me at all. It's scary. Honestly, it's scary. Like I said to you, it's a blessing for me. I've learned so much. I'll go into a food bank and, we got no milk. And I swear to you, 5 seconds later, the doorbell will go.
And milk arrives.
There's a half a van load of milk, mate. How much milk would you like? That's how mental this is. And it's reinforced my faith. And when Dad said to me, you were not doing anything, right?
You're starting to understand now what you were saying.
I get what you mean. I get exactly. And I have to salute my dad. He said to me, Imran, if you start taking people's money, they don't know where you live. They don't know what you drive. But as soon as they give you a tenner, that's their car, mate. Do you get it? That's where the charity money is going. We got this mentality, we have this problem, with the
stigma.
The stigma. And then you've got, which I don't agree with, you've got a lot of charities out there who pay CEOs 6-figure salaries. And then they justify it by saying, oh yeah, the guy brings us £200 million in funding. Oh, go away, right? Stupid justification for all these large charities. If you want to make money, become a charity. I tell you, there's that much serious. It's a business. It's a massive, massive business. I'm not picking on charities, and you do some good jobs, but it's not that human effort's not there. I think our biggest winner has to be that we've got now 750 volunteers, and majority of them are not Muslim. Majority of them do not have beards, even though the name Bearded Broz, right? They don't have beards. They're from every walk of life, every faith, every nationality. They're from everywhere. The reason being because it's a humanitarian effort. We're not stopping anybody to join us. You and I could have a difference. You and I could hate each other. And what? We still help someone. It doesn't make any difference to us, right? If it doesn't make any difference to you, we're cool. So we've got now 750 volunteers who carry our emergency food parcels in their vehicles. So that's 750 depots.
On the move, yeah.
On the move. So every night now, when we have emergencies, we put it out there on our broadcast system. And people, like taxis, they say, yeah, I'll cover Eddington. Yep, I'll cover Coventry. I'll cover this area. So every night, we're all doing one or two, but we're making a major, major difference. That's what the whole thing was, right? You and I coming together, putting our differences aside. I mean, talking about you and I coming together and putting differences aside, I do a program called Meet a Muslim, which is me meeting the far right. Right, I'm gonna get beaten on one of these days. I'm not doing this job. I probably need some training in this gym, right? But I go and meet the far right, and I say to them, look, you and me can be different, but that doesn't mean we have to hate each other. That's what I'm saying. I want I want, for example, Luton, quite far right held. Okay, I want a food bank there under Mum's name, run by the EDL. You can hate me, you can swear at me, do what you like, yeah. But you and I can put our differences aside to help someone, can't we? Why not? We don't need to talk politics or religion, right? Just is basically two humans saying, yeah, let's help someone else. That's all it is. So and I think that would be a major. They won't. I don't think they'll do it, right? But this is something I've proposed. You never know, right? I could give some food and get beaten up at the same time. You never know, right? Because some of these people, when I met them and what have you not, they're not really racist, bro. They're not.
They just lack education.
Yeah, they've never met an Asian person. They're getting scared of what's being shown on telly, for God's sake. And when everyone I've met even Tommy Robinson's uncle, right? And he's a lovely guy. There's only one difference. I wanted to read namaz and he didn't. Big deal. He wants to go to the pub and, and I don't. That's the only difference, isn't there? Other than that, it's minor. Why can't we live with each other? But the way EDL and the way Tommy Robinson does things is very clever. It's the people that are following are stupid. He's very smart. Remember, there's only one person that's making money here. It's him. He's cherry picking at the Quran. Anybody can do that to a book and make it sound horrible. You can do that to Rapunzel, for God's sake, right? That's exactly what he's doing. And people just don't have the time in the day to pick it up and verify this information. So if I said to you, Mo, guess what? In the Sikh religion, they're allowed to do this, and you're like, are you really going to be going researching it? No, you just took that at face value, right? All Imran's done is spread some hate. And if I carry on doing it, make that movement, everybody that's opposing Sikhism, all of a sudden, Imran becomes the ambassador. Tommy Robinson is that such an ambassador. Now, how do you make some money doing that? It's quite easy. When you make a video and there's got 500,000 million views on it, you've made money, right? So the only person that's making money is Tommy Robinson by deceiving people. I wish I could speak to this guy, but it's probably not going to ever happen. But yeah, in a nutshell, this is what the Bearded Broz does. So we took the food bank and any sort of community issues. The Bearded Broz like to tackle it head on. And when I say community issues, we like to clean up our house before we talk about somebody else. So I'd rather talk about a grooming gang and say what's wrong in Islam before the EDL start picking on it. We need to clean up our act, right? Fix our roof before we can point the finger at anybody else. And the Bearded Broz, this is what we do. It's grown quite substantially. We've had over something silly like 190 million views worldwide. We've been dubbed in sort of like 13 languages. It's a household name. The Bearded Broz. And it started, again, it doesn't take any money, it doesn't take any funding. It's just using social media to overcome community issues. That's all it is. So if you said to me, Imran, I run this gym, and I need more kids in here, or I'm doing this something new, it's free advertisement for you. It's just a platform where people can engage. That's all it's about. And if I can help my brother, then so be it. Not for money. Just help my brother. That's it. I can make money elsewhere.
Yeah, I get the picture. It's like by the people, for the people.
Correct.
It's like a proper community service, true ambassadors of the community.
Correct.
Whereas, like you highlighted, some organisations have got agendas or structures where it's all about benefiting individuals.
100%.
Whereas you're trying to benefit the wider community.
100%. This is not a Sunni Shia Wahhabi outfit, right? I am what I am personally myself.
Everybody is human.
100%. You could be Wahhabi, I could be Wahhabi, Sunni, whatever. You know what? Put your differences aside, mate. Let's not go there. Just this morning, I was talking to a sister who does henna, and she said, "I'm just really struggling. I've got to pay bills and stuff." I said, "Don't worry about it. You can advertise on there for free." You know what? She's gonna give me dua. That's way more than what money I can have, mate. It's way more than that. I'm just too old in the tooth to be thinking about money now. And alhamdulillah, again, it's not me. I must stress to you, this is not my doings. I'm not capable of doing any of this. This is upstairs.
Gift.
Honestly, it is. And it's scary. It's really, really... maybe that's the way I'm tackling it, by calling it scary, right?
I wouldn't say scary. I would say more of... It's a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
You basically are checking.
That's why I'm
if you're
scared,
doing
man.
things correctly.
That's
yeah.
why I'm scared.
But that's
Do you
always
understand?
good because then you're thorough in your work.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That's why I think I'm scared, because I just don't know what's going on. And when I see it, I just think, no, this is because I'm your everyday Joe. I am your literally everyday Joe.
Everyday more.
Yeah, everyday Mo. Yeah, you can call me that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What I was going to say, your volunteers, you said you got about 750. How do people get involved? How can they reach you? How can they speak to you? How can they volunteer? What kind of skills you're looking for? You said that some people drive around, so is that a benefit for a volunteer? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for volunteer drivers in different areas. So anybody that can drive, you're looking at becoming a taxi. You don't have to, that's probably not the right word, right? But you go onto our system where every night you get sent areas that we need to cover. So we have somebody in Handsworth who's very old, can't get to us. We need to get to him, right? We have a mom in Ladywood who just can't make ends meet. We need to get to her, right? So so let's just say you do a 9 to 5, that you can put your hand up and then do that after work. All you do is you get the bags from us, you leave them in your vehicle. When you say, yes, I want to do Ladywood, you get the bag out of your car and drop it off to the woman in Ladywood. That's it. It's all emergency food. So you're not going to get gourmet meals there, right? But it's to get you out of an emergency, and people appreciate it. It's just literally cereal, milk, beans, biscuits, pasta. It's literally emergency food. That's what we are doing. Not cook food.
So you get the donation. So if you just go through that list again, what kind of food are you looking for donation? Cereals?
Cereal, milk, beans, rice pudding, soup, sanitary towels, nappies, anything which is immediate like crisps, chocolates, okay? Anything and everything, vegetarian option, okay? We even do halal meat now, where people can, you know how we used to do sadaqah and etc. You don't know who to give it to. You give it to us. Okay, so we've teamed up with different butchers that you can go in there. You'll see one of our posters up, right? You can pay, you're not paying us, you're paying the butcher. You can pay the butcher, this is how much money I want to give in sadaqah. He will then make that same meat and have it delivered to us, which we freeze and give it to families who require it. Again, can't afford it.
Good collaboration as well.
Wicked collaboration.
Good work,
Yeah.
So, apart from the food bank, what other community issues are we looking at?
Are we dealing with?
Yeah, what is your main concern for Sandwell or Birmingham or for the Midlands at the moment? What do you think is the main issue?
Within our communities or community as a wider?
Both.
Theft is a major problem. Drugs, alcohol. I mean, alcohol and drugs, we're talking about COVID. That's not the pandemic. The pandemic is your drugs and alcohol. It's a major pandemic. How youngsters are indulging in it, and how people find it very easy to become drug dealers nowadays. You got 500 quid and they want to make $1,000 out of it. There's no more etiquettes on what's haram and halal, which is very scary. I come across a lot of parents that they're cool with the kid when the money's flowing in. As soon as the police knock on the door, it's like, I didn't know nothing about it. Where did you think that $5,000 came from? Do you understand? You were very happy putting the carpets down and having the double glazing done, which is ridiculous. If my son was doing that, I would be asking very many questions. Like, where have you got this money from? I've not given it to you. You're not working. You're staying out late hours. Alarm bells. But unfortunately, when your morals are as such, then your children are going to be the same, aren't they, as well? This is a major, major problem. Major problem. The drugs, the whole drug scene, everybody thinks they're a gangster. Everybody thinks they're a drug dealer. We've lost it. There's nothing that the mosques are doing to engage. There's nothing that the religious institutions are doing to engage. How are you going to seem cool to somebody who's a drug dealer listening to whatever rap he's listening to, and you're giving a speech in a mosque? How are you relating? We need to step up our game.
It's a big gap, isn't it?
Major gap. We, as the normal general public, need to step up our game. Our imams need to step up our game. We have the buildings, we have the infrastructure, but we're doing something wrong because we're not engaging.
Wasted potential, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. You and I are speaking in a mic, right? Preaching to the preached. How's that helping? Why are we not proactively doing something? Why can't we do something? You know, we have mosques that have millions of pounds. Why can we not start recruitment places where we say to somebody, okay, cool, you know what? You might not make $5,000 a month, right? You might make $2,000, but you know, it's halal. But here's a job opportunity for you. Take it. Even if you can say 1 out of 10, still an opportunity, isn't it? Why can we not use these places to do that? Because we're too busy, Mo. We are too busy fixing our roof. That hasn't been done for about 30 years still. Underfloor heating. What the hell? How much more heating would you like? It's unbelievable. A very large mosque, I wouldn't like to name them, right? They do very good work in the Birmingham area, Small Heath area. And you know, they're collecting money for underfloor heating. The 175 grand. Are you being serious? I go there on a daily basis around the corner, giving people atta. I go there giving people rice, and you're telling me you need 75 grand for underfloor heating. Dude, wake up. 75 grand should be invested back into this public. If you got 75 grand to throw at it like that, open a soup kitchen. So these people do something which is going to benefit the people. That underfloor heating and that big roof is not going to do anything for anyone. It's not. It's ridiculous. Do you understand? And why would you need that? You've got heating. Because it just doesn't make any sense. You know, we've got the power to do it, but why are we so reluctant to do it? Give me the power, I'll show you how to do it.
I think the added benefit is the mosque becomes what the mosque should be, a hub where people come and use the place.
Correct.
The people don't come there because there's nothing for them there.
There's nothing there.
And it's just an empty, good-looking building.
100%.
Which,
100%.
unfortunately, is the reality.
Yeah, look, you've got a gym here, right? Why couldn't a mosque fund this? Why can't we make this into brand new? Why can't we own this building? We can. We got millions to throw at a brand new mosque when you got one stone throw away. You got one around the corner. I think the bill was about £4.5 million. I know them very well. But why? You didn't need one.
It's lavish.
You just have not got the people to go to the mosque. You've got a what they call a black mosque, literally a stone throw away. Why couldn't we help them, brothers? Because they're a different colour. Or they are Salafi and we are Sunni.
Pray differently.
We pray differently. No, we couldn't help them. Yet, we had £4 million to give here. And I swear to you, that same road, you know what I'm talking about, that same road is a hotspot for our food bank. It's a hotspot. You know, the poverty levels there are ridiculous. And we have people there all the time, single moms that need food. Let's do something which is really going to benefit us. I can't see you spending £4 million, making the rich richer, right? Going to benefit anybody around that area. We could have had a shed that would have benefited people more in that same spot.
It's the harsh reality, isn't it? It's the
Harsh
truth,
reality of it.
And people don't like the truth. That's the problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's Pakistani politics, right? and mosques are plagued by it. I hate working with mosques. I'm being serious, because you can't do anything.
There's too many loops to jump through.
Too many loops to jump through. And I ain't got time to be doing that. If you want to help. Other than that, if you don't, then you know what? You're wasting my time and I'm wasting yours. So that's the reality of it. So there is major problems. And I pick on mosques because I'm a Muslim. That's what I'm saying. This is what Bearded Broz does.
It's experience.
Why should I pick on the temple or the Gurdwara? I'm not got no experience of them. I'm a Muslim. I'm going to pick on what I've got in front of me. And I can see that problem. I can see it. With our project, the best thing you've got, Mo, is that you and I do it hands-on. Them days are gone where, you know, our grandfather and dad used to put money in the bucket and we never used to see the results. You and I physically go and help someone without giving any money. Do you get it?
The accountability is there.
Accountability. So when you buy this bottle of water, it goes to somebody in need. You and I are not taking the top off and saying, oh, I'll have that for my wages. Mate, ain't happy, mate. Right? You and I can make money somewhere else. But at least believe that you can make money somewhere else. But when people start using the charity card to make money, that boils my blood. I hate it with a vengeance, because you can do it somewhere else. And you know, if I was to, let's just say, work for a charity, honestly, if I felt that I was worth 50 grand a year, I think I'll try to do it for about 40. And try to give the charity. I wouldn't say, yeah, because it's charity, I'll do it for 100 grand this time. That's what people are doing. Don't play the card with me, man. Play, at least go down the lines of saying you're Oxfam. At least to say it how it is. It's written on the tin. Yeah, we're going to give him 600 grand. Cool, we get that, and that's why you put that money into Oxfam. You agree to that, but don't play the God card, Islam card, and then do this. It's a business.
False advertising. As well.
False advertising. Tell them.
So for the future, what other projects have you got lined up, if anything different, or is just to grow the existing project? You talked about the Beard with Broz is growing as well. So what kind of community impact you have?
I've become a food blogger. I think I have anyway. Right, I eat a lot, hence the belly. All right, but I talk, and my wife said, "Why do you put two and two together? Let's see if you can make a blog." And I did, and it's going pretty cool. So I like eating, I like talking about it, and I get people following me and saying, "I'd rather you not waste your money. I've done that bit, right? And I can tell you if it's good or not." So I want to pursue that. I want a food bank in every city, every major city. Should have one, not necessarily with my name, but let's just say with my help, how we've done it. Let's change the model of it. Let's make it less inconvenient for people to use us, right? If scenario, Friday, mum goes to the cash point, like the lady, right? There's no money there. Food bank don't open till Tuesday. So how do you now explain to that little baby, mum can't feed you Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then maybe I can feed you on Tuesday. 4 days without food. Reality. If I was in her place, I'd have to go and rob someone. I'll have to go and rob someone.
That's the reality that happens.
Reality. Do you know how many security guards phone us from supermarkets? Right, because we've told them that if you get somebody robbing food, don't lock them up. Don't call the police. Tell us, we'll come and give us some food. You give them a slap on the wrist, take the food away. But I swear to you, people are robbing food because they're hungry. They're not going to sell it. They're hungry. They literally are hungry. So that is a sad reality of it, and I wish we can open up a place in every major city and we can bring on the makeup of this country, which is majority English, minority black and white, okay, led under the one belief that a believer isn't a believer that goes to bed satisfied while his neighbor sleeps hungry. And these are very powerful words. And I swear to you, even though they are the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are very much based upon humanity. You don't have to be Muslim to believe in them words. They are the makeup of our inner morals, of humans. And I think this is the beauty I've got of both worlds. I'm British and I'm Muslim. I've got two sets of values here that really do go hand in hand. Morally, and being Great Britain, I can't let my neighbor go without food. And then when it's reinforced within my religion that, bro, Imran, thanks for the praying, thanks for all the fasting, but your neighbor went without food, so jog on. That's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. So because you weren't bothered, because you were selfish, And I think Islam and British values go hand in hand. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Right? They do go hand in hand, but we just need to put it in practice. That's all it is. You don't need to go and live in the Bora Bora caves and grow a big, massive beard. None of that. Right? But we can do it practically.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think everybody needs to realise that we need to shake ourselves off and step up.
Yeah.
And all these failings are because of our failings.
Yeah.
Individual failing leads to the wider failings.
Shortcomings. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so your social media, how can people reach you, follow you, speak to you? Give us your tags, your handles.
Our handles are all Bearded Broz. Broz are with a Z, right? That's across all of our social media. We have one telephone number, which is 07767164246. Anybody in an emergency for food can text that number. Our volunteers are available 24 hours a day, who will then send you instructions on how to get food. Other than that, go and like Facebook, Twitter. We're even on TikTok now, right? Snapchat and YouTube, whatever you want to do.
And this is also going hand in hand with your expertise on social media.
That's right. Yes, going hand in hand with my expertise in social media and my food blogging.
And how does your expertise come into it? Does it help a lot? Or
it does, because I know what I'm doing, I think, right? So it does, because I sell social media to large organizations. I know what I'm doing. So when it comes to a video going viral, we know where to place it and when to place it and what to use, right? Whereas we're not just taking a shot in the dark. We have got some sort of background in it. We have got some structure, yeah.
It's been brilliant talking to you. It's been enlightening.
Likewise.
And I wish you the best with everything.
Thank you
we'll
so
obviously get on board when we can.
Inshallah.
I'm a bit incognito. I try not to be in the limelight. I try to do things subtly and quietly.
That's cool.
I just prefer it like that, and that's something. The way you mentioned about your mother, that's how my grandmother used to tell me. She used to say, when you give with your right hand, your left hand shouldn't know. So
yeah, you're right.
I try to keep as D-low as possible.
Yeah.
And I think the benefit of that for me is obviously it keeps me in check, where I don't boast and say, like some people do, I gave so much and so and so on.
100%.
Can you announce it? It keeps me away from that.
Yeah.
And it also keeps the pressure off other people who probably can't give.
Yeah.
And the two go hand in hand. And
100%.
obviously we'll try our best from the Winmore boxing team to do what we can.
100%. I wish you all the best, and first time in the ring. I do
we'll have
like
to see you again, like, you know.
Hey, I'm gonna bring my kids down.
Well, I'm looking forward to that meeting with Tommy Robinson, you and Tommy in the ring.
In the ring.
Obviously sitting on the chairs with the microphone.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Thank you ever so much for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Appreciate it.